Glad to see Ed Welts is here. And
Howdy, howdy.
Kevin, I don't believe I know Kevin. Kevin, are you a visitor tonight?
Hello, yes, this is my first meeting with you guys. I just wanted to check it out. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Reap. I live in Round Rock.
Cool.
And I've been using interchangeable lens cameras for about going on 4 years now.
Great. Well,
Great. Welcome.
a great night to come. So we'll tell you about another club. I'll try to answer why we're doing that.
And our president is here now too.
Hey guys, what's up, y'all? How's everybody?
Hey,
Hey.
Didn't recognize you without the beard.
I know. I filled up a bowl about that big with hair when I cut it off. So my allergies got so bad, it had to go. So
I found the hairs and pasted them on.
yeah, the deciding moment for me is when the beard was coming back into my ear, and I was like, that's it.
That's where mine starts.
Yeah, I kind of call this my minor leagues. That's the farm team for the hair up top. I'm just gonna swap it around. That's good. Everybody good tonight?
We're all good.
Excellent. Cool. We have any new members? Did I just miss that?
Yeah. Kevin,
Prompt. It was like 7:01. Y'all.
Yeah, I'm just checking y'all out, see what you guys are about. My name's Kevin Reap. I was just saying, and
Hey, Kevin.
yeah, just see what y'all are up to. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to join. I mean, I could spare $12, I think. Check out the first year and see what things are happening.
We're just a bunch of weird people that like to take pictures. I don't know. That's pretty much us in a nutshell.
Kevin, did you find us through the website or someone recommended you look for us?
How did I find you guys? I found you online, and I think I kind of got interested from something else I was looking at. It said photographic clubs. I said, well, I wonder if there's anything in the area that's any photography clubs that I could join locally, so that I could also, communicate with fellow geeks who are into this stuff, into this little hobby and learn some things. So yeah, I just found you online on Google somewhere.
Hey,
On the Google.
My name is Clay Laban. I am the membership secretary, and Ed Pete is the webmaster, and you can register as a new member and pay $24 for your annual 12-month membership through the website and PayPal.
Okay.
NAPfS.org is the website. We have a Facebook page Facebook group, and a meetup group, which is NAPfS Walkabouts.
Outings. You talking about meetup?
Yeah, the meetup.
Yeah, that's NAPfS outings. There's a link to it on our club homepage.
Right.
Yeah, I've been to the pages, so I'm sure I could find it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hey, can
Are the memberships based on a calendar year?
12 months. Yeah, it's 12 months at a time.
No, it's the dues are year from month to month. I mean, they're from the time when you pay.
Yeah.
They used to be years ago. They used to be January to December, but now it's from whenever you pay to the next year.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember when that was, but I assume the club will send me a reminder to pay up.
Yeah, there'll be an automated message that'll come to you.
Perfect.
our newest member who just joined today is Cheryl Callan. Cheryl, you want to say a couple words about yourself?
She's not.
If you do,
You'll have to unmute yourself.
Oh, there she is.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm not showered today. I've been sitting around doing photography all day, so I'm not showing my face.
That's fair. I try to hide behind the camera as often as I can. So. Hey, I just want to let everybody know today's Thursday. You basically have 24 hours to get your submissions in for the next print show we have coming up. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. is the deadline. You can submit 2 photos. The instructions are on the front page of our website. But as of last time I checked, we had 24 submissions and there's only 12 spots. So make sure that you get your submissions in. It's landscape photos. Is going to be this print show. It's going to be judged by a really good landscape photographer. So get your photos in so that you can be notified, so you can get your prints ready to hang. The show will be at West Pecan Coffee and Beer in Pflugerville. And right now that's hanging, there's an art show from our vice president, Miss Patty Mitchell, who's hanging in there right now. So if you get a chance to swing by, you can check that out as well. So yeah, we'll be running, we'll have our photos up for a month, starting like mid-February through mid-March. And then probably in 3 months from that, we'll have another show there. We haven't decided on a theme yet, but just so you know, that's kind of our unofficial, maybe it's my unofficial office. Maybe that's why we do stuff there. But it's
It's
just a
got to
cool
be birds on a stick.
Yeah. Yay. Birds on a stick.
Yeah, there are 29 entries right now.
Is there? Okay, great. Yeah. I was wondering if we were going to get up into the 30s. So it's going to be a tight competition. I'm hoping that we can do portraits at some time, so I actually have a chance. Otherwise, it's just going to be like all Hatham and Mohib and Mark and Alan's photos.
That are excellent.
Yeah, no, they're great. No, they kick my butt in landscapes. I don't even try to front on that. I know what I'm good at. It's people. So landscapes are just something I pretend I'm good at. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a reminder just in case you needed hey, here's your final reminder. You have 24 hours to get your photos in. And it's our normal submission process. So yeah. Any questions on that I can answer for y'all?
Is there any hope for a bird on a stick?
No,
As long as
because
it's-
it's landscape photos.
As long as there's a mountain in the back of it.
I mean, there is if it's part of a landscape, but it's not an animal. It's not an animal. We did animals last time. So this time was landscapes.
I just finished a 2-day conference on travel photography with Kelby One.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
That was pretty good. But
Yeah.
what he announced is that in March, they'll be doing a online conference on wildlife photography. Not my deal, but a lot of the guys here are into wildlife. My best wildlife shot is squirrels. That's it. Other than that, but I figured you guys might be interested. It's not up yet on the website, but you'll probably be seeing an email in a week or so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not into wildlife.
I took a picture of Steven last month. Does that count?
I mean, he's half bear.
Sasquatch.
They did say Moose Peterson will be one of the instructors, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
I just watched his on bird photography in the snow.
Yeah. Birds. We
On a stick. In the snow.
Yay, birds. Cool. Well, awesome. Anybody else have anything before we let Mark talk for a little bit?
I just wanted to say, first of all, I'm wearing the NAPfS t-shirt. I'll once again mention that that's available through the store.
Gotta go get those.
And you can show your colors or lack of color, I guess. We have black and white t-shirts and gray, but you can order them online at teespring.com. And as I say, the direct link is on the website. It's the last item under organization, I believe, to go to the store.
You could also throw it in the chat window.
Oh, I could. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm up for introducing Mark, unless someone else wants to go ahead.
Go for it.
You ready, Mark?
Ready as I'm going to be. You got me whipped into shape today.
Yeah. Mark and I did a little dry run and practice, which I hope was helpful. But I just want to say a few words about Mark because he is such a special person and special contributor to our club. He is this year's High Point winner on the advanced class, which entitles him to be known as the Andrew Fritz Memorial Photographer, which I believe this is the first year we've made that distinction in recognition of our past president who passed away very tragically. Mark is a retired physician. He has been doing photography for many, many years. He said when it went digital, he got into it. I admire him so much because, first of all, he is our competition coordinator. So he does great work for the club. he also, in his own right, is an excellent photographer, as I mentioned, having been the advanced class top points getter for this past year. And he has a portfolio that includes great landscapes. He's made a number of trips to national parks with a friend of his, and he has a great portfolio site. He could put that in the chat window if he'd like. But tonight he has brought to us a program about the PSA, or Photographic Society of America. He brought also this information to the leadership group this week, and the leadership group decided it was worthy of us becoming a club member of PSA. So part of what we're going to be doing this year is experimenting and developing a relationship with PSA. They have a chapter or club in Sun City, Georgetown, and that they have some top people there already doing great work with PSA. So we want to make a relationship with them, and we want to learn from PSA. And Mark is the guy who's been, first of all, he's been a member for a couple of years, and he has researched it and brought that, said it's a great idea for us to join. So we are a club member now. And Mark, you'd like to tell us not only about our club benefits, but also individuals who can join PSA and get some benefits from this organization, which is a good one. Mark?
Well, Clay, thank you for the best, nicest introduction I've ever had. But I still can't give you extra points in the competitions. Just
Probably wouldn't end up doing well.
Try to share now. Let's see. Can everybody see this screen with PSA on it?
Yeah.
All right. It's a good start. It's working better than I had it going this morning, this afternoon. One very unprofessional thing on my part is that you're going to get the editing screen instead of the real thing, because I've been having some problems making the full slideshow show up without glitches. So it shouldn't be a problem, and it will allow me to edit out typos if I have any. So the way this came about, of course, was first, the reason was I've been a member for about 1.5 years now, and I've really enjoyed it. The organization offers a lot to us. And you might, the first question you ask, well, I'm going to join a club so they can tell me about another club. Well, we do have a great club, and we do a lot of things well, but we're only 3 to 4 years old, and we're relatively small.
Going on our 6th year.
6th. Okay, well, yeah. Clay?
Time flies.
6, all right.
No, it's only about 3 as a real full verified organization, really. 2017 was probably the first year.
Well, anyway, the point I wanted to make is that we do offer a lot to our members, but there's, a club like an organization like PSA, which is much older and much larger, just has, more resources and sources of experience that we could take advantage of, both for the club and for individual members. So I wanted to go through some of that. Originally, we're going to have Dee Sams, who is the PSA club rep for the Sun City Club here in Georgetown, but she had a schedule conflict. So unfortunately for you guys, I volunteered to do this, but I do want to say that if you have questions during this, use the chat thing, and Clay has graciously volunteered to, look at those questions and pass them on to me, because I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So PSA was founded a long time ago, 1934. It was actually a second evolution, or a first evolution of another club, which was just a membership of clubs. But that club was formed in 1919 on the East Coast. In 1934, they decided, well, we really like to expand our reach and get to, allow individual members to join. So they redid their charter and all and formed the PSA. They have members in over 80 countries, and as you can see, 5,000 members, a large number of camera clubs, and they have 12 chapters across the United States, which are larger subsegments. Let's see. So the mission, their goal is very much like our club's goal, which is to promote our love of photography. One, we want to get it to other people. We want photographers to learn from each other, to have opportunities to share experiences with other photographers, gain inspiration from other photographers. And the PSA is, does the same thing in a more international way. So there's lots of things they can offer us for both the club and the individuals. Now, on the club side, now that we've joined, the whole club has access to certain services. One, all the resources that PSA has for helping clubs develop, and that includes, how to start your club, how to get a newsletter going, how to have develop a website. Fortunately, on the website, we've got a great start there, and I'm not sure how much improvement we can develop there, but there's lots of other clubs that have websites and newsletters, and we have access to those, and we can learn from what they're doing, not only how they make their newsletter, but what kind of things they do to keep their members busy and happy. So I think that in itself would be worth the club's price of admission. The PSA has a large number of webinars that are available. Now, I'll talk more about that on the individual membership side, but there is a limited access to the club. I was talking to the director of this area, and he said we could, probably like borrow 1 to 2 of these a year to show to our club if we needed something to use for a meeting. So that's a limited benefit for the club, but it would be, I highly recommend them. They do a couple of months, it seems lately, maybe 1 month they did every week. It's just, the pandemic has really, encouraged people to watch them. So they're putting out a lot more of them. Now, PSA, I forgot to say, is not just for professionals. It's a club that is for photographers of all experience. So you could be a total newbie, or you could be a seasoned pro. There's things that the club has to offer you. And so we were talking about club benefits. They also offer a judge training service. And we're going to have to work with them on how to best do this. I think it would be of great benefit to our members, but to my knowledge, they haven't been doing them on the web. They've been doing them live, which is a much more difficult thing to organize, and it's expensive. But with what's going on nowadays, they may have developed an online program, so I'm going to be investigating that. PSA also provides a judging service where they will actually judge our competitions. I know there's been feedback from some of the membership that they would like to have more outside judges, and this would be an opportunity to do that. Again, as with everything, there are some trade-offs. One is that they're perfectly willing to take all our images and rank them, and so that we have winners to award each month. They do give critiques, but they tend to limit that to 30 per month. And of course, we are having 60 to 80 images. Now, there are some things we can do to try to make that work for our club's needs. One would be, tell them that they can't do critiques on more than one image per person. That would spread them out a little bit better. Or we could tell them this month, we just want you to do them on such and such class, which would give everybody a rotating opportunity to see the critiques from a professional society. So there are some things we're looking at and trying to make this work for us, but it's definitely very interesting and promising. The organization also has competitions for website development and for the newsletter of each club. So like I said before, that may be something we want to participate in, or we just may use them for reference to look at the best websites and newsletters and see how they do them and see if there's something we can learn from that. So nonetheless, it's a great resource. And I've looked at a number of these and some are quite impressive, especially in the scope of activities they have. So, well, at least before COVID, I should say. And last but not least are interclub competitions. And I know I've talked about this a little bit before with some of the members. PSA has interclub competitions in about 7 or 8 categories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. And as you can see, they vary a little bit from nature to photojournalism. They even have a 3D interclub. For those of you who like to do creative changes to your images with software, there's a projected image division creative interclub competition. And then there's just the open interclub, which encompasses most everything else. Clubs have to send in 6 images from 6 members for each of these divisions. Now, we don't have to participate in each division, but each division requires 6 images be submitted. And then, let's see, I have number, following each competition, the club standings are sent out and the winning images are posted on the website. And that's another good thing on the website that is available, are winning images from different competitions. So it's a great source of inspiration, and number one, and number 2, it's a great place to learn about what kind of images really, impress the judges. So there's a lot to be learned there. So that really is a basic rundown of the images, of the benefits of being in our club now that we're a member of PSA. Are there any questions at this point?
So our club is already a member, you said?
Yes, we just joined 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
So what do we need to do to actually see some of this stuff?
To do what?
To actually see like the webinars or whatever they're offering.
Okay, well, since I'm the club representative, I would have to request access to webinars. And as I told you before, they are, somewhat limited because this really is considered a benefit of individual membership, but they do pass on a limited access to the clubs. But that's what we need to do. And if okay. If you're considering, yes, Clay, you're muted. Still not hearing you, Clay. Is anybody hearing Clay?
He's muted.
Oh, now you're muted for sure, Clay. Okay, well, I'll go on. If you figure out how to unmute yourself, we'll let you back in.
I have another question.
Oh, yes.
So the club is a member of PSA. Is there any advantage of having individuals join the PSA?
Absolutely. And I'm going to go through those next.
All right, thanks.
I mean, as a club member, as a member of our club, if we participate in your club, you would be able to do that. You would back up one.
Okay.
You would have limited access to webinars. The club would have access to judging services and access to the website and newsletter competition. Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, I was just trying to, sorry, I pulled out the desktop microphone and that screwed everything up. So I was just quickly going to add that it's worth a visit to the website, which is psa/photo.org. I'll put that in the chat, but they have a page for articles from the newsletter. The entire newsletter is not available unless you're an individual member, but they do have resources there. If you would poke around their website, it's very extensive and worth a visit. That's it.
Yeah, there's another benefit that, the club will get one hard copy of the monthly journal, and we can pass that around. But if it's something you really want to look at, I just don't think membership is that expensive that it wouldn't be worth it to have online access to their whole archive. So I would strongly recommend considering this. All right, I wanted to move on to members for individuals. Again, it costs $45, and that's every year until they raise it, I'm sure. If you want a hard copy of the magazine, then there's an extra fee for that. And I don't remember right offhand what it is, but I haven't collected anything hard copy in a while. So what do they offer the individual? Well, there are some discounts. They're not, earth shattering, but there's a photo hosting site called SlickPick, and allows free hosting for PSA members. So it's one way to get your work out on the web if you don't already have somewhere. Kelby One has a small discount with them. Kelby One, for those of you who don't know, is a large enterprise run by Scott Kelby, who is a well-known writer about digital photography. And they have a massive number of online webinars. Well, no, there are more than webinars. There are full-blown courses, some of them going many hours, that discuss virtually anything to do with photography. And that includes both taking pictures and processing pictures. And that's something that's a whole other subject, but definitely worth investigating if you're looking for resources. They also offer some discounts on some software programs from Luminar, which include Aurora HDR and Luminar 4. It's not Luminar, not the company. It's
Skylar.
Skylar. Thank you. So that's available. And then there are different photo printing companies and photo book publishers that have arrangements with PSA that provide some discount. So again, another thing to, it's not going to be the one thing that draws you to the club, but it will be a benefit that you definitely can take advantage of. Another thing they offer are galleries. Now, your personal gallery, and they have a number of different types of galleries. They have one section called 365-day galleries for people who are that motivated that they, are willing to go out and take a picture every day. My hat's off to them. That is really, it's a tough exercise, but an excellent one. They also have galleries for first-year members where you can post a few of your best pictures. They have individual member galleries, again, with some limitations to how many images you can put in. And lastly, they have galleries for members who have earned certain distinctions in the club with its levels of proficiency. I'll talk about that a little bit later in this, talk, but it's really for those who want to go the extra mile in the competition area. Any questions about those? All right, this is just a sample of last year's journals, and they have lots of interesting articles that cover a lot of how-to on techniques and some inspirational articles, and just cover a wide topic, a wide area of interest that photographers would be interested in. I was noticing on, there's a typical table of contents, and I'm noticing on here that they have some really high power people on here. I see that Art Wolf, this was his keynote speech from the photo festival in Colorado Springs, the last time they had one, which I think was 2019. And there's also an article in there I see by Harold Ross, who is one of the foremost authorities on light painting. So usually it's articles written by members for members, but and I don't know if these two happen to be members of PSA, but they do bring in some very good photographers to talk or to write. So we talked about judging services, and what happens is that we would submit, well, we just like we do now with having our images online for the judges to look at. Instead of using club members, we would just have their judge do the same thing, but in a more limited fashion, because like I said, they're only going to critique 30 images, but they will rank all of them. And at least you'll get an idea of where you stand compared to everybody that's submitted. It's digital images only, which is all we're doing at present. They would also do our year-end competition, and that might be really useful for us. So we should strongly consider that because that would be our Critics' Choice selection for photograph of the year. There are some, not major issues here. We would have to send them our images a minimum of 2 weeks before our competition. So we'd have to move our deadlines up, but that really shouldn't be a problem because first of all, the whole schedule is printed out on the website. So you know what's coming many months in advance. So I don't think that will be a problem if we decide to go this way. I'll have to give more feedback. Go ahead.
Yeah, is there a limit on the number of images submitted for ranking, not to write a critique?
I don't believe so. In other words, they'll do 30 critiques, but I think they will rank everybody. I didn't ask that question specifically, but I got an email. Let me see if I can quote what.
Well, here's the thought. I mean, you can look it up later. But what I'm thinking is, if there is no limit, I think it would be very advantageous for the club and the members to have the PSA rank our images, monthly images, every month, and have it as a third item. You've got the judging, you've got the people's choice, and then you've got the PSA ranking. And this way, at least have a normalized distribution of feedback.
I hear what you're saying, I think, and that does sound very intriguing. I'll definitely put that down on my list of ideas to consider. So even if we don't use them for the awards that we normally do, let me see if I understand what you're saying. Even though we use our own judges to do the awarding, to decide who gets awards, we would also have this ranking.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, our judges obviously are doing their best, but they're still, junior in terms of photography and judging, whereas the PSA will be coming with their professional judges. And so if we have a ranked list of the submissions, you can at least for the photographers who are looking for feedback can actually, weigh this feedback against the judges' feedback and the popular.
Yeah.
It's just one more data point for photographers.
Yeah, well, we all know that if you have 3 judges, you'll have 4 opinions. And
That's right.
So, but you know, if you're really serious about improving your photography, it's not a bad thing to have multiple opinions. So we definitely could do that if them doing it, the whole thing doesn't work out for us. Let's see. So that's judging services. I want to move on to so educational services that PSA offers. Well, that's where I think they really shine. They have lots of online courses. Well, I shouldn't say lots. They have a number of online courses that cover various topics. And I've taken a couple of these. I've taken image evaluation and light painting, the still life. And my experience with those classes was that I would get an introductory, welcome from the photographer, the person in PSA that was conducting this class. Then they would send me a series of assignments, usually of graduated difficulty, where, for instance, in the light painting, the still life, they give me some examples of what they were trying to accomplish, and then say, okay, I want you to do this and this. And so I would take the pictures and submit the best ones I thought I had. And then they would send them back to me and say, okay, in this image, this was right, but I need for you to get better balance of light or, whatever. And so please redo that one. And sometimes you might send it back 3 times, but that's the whole point of the process, is to learn how to do it correctly. So, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. In the photography or image analysis program, they gave me a basic template of how to analyze images, things to consider, things to talk about, how to critique an image, with how you choose your words, like using "in my opinion," "in my experience," or things of that nature, rather than coming out with absolutes, because again, all rules are meant to be broken and all photographers have a different grounding. But they would send me a couple of images each lesson and ask me to critique them. And I would go through, they have a kind of a cheat sheet, which you use to get your ideas together. And I would go through and talk about each image and what I thought, how I thought it met the goals and the various criteria. And then they would send back, say, okay, well, and they would critique my critique. And so that was a very helpful thing too. Something that I should probably go back through several times so I can, pound it into my memory, because it's, we start to fall back into old habits when we don't have our material memorized. But anyway, these are the current courses that are offered in that fashion. They also have study groups. So what are these? Well, they're small groups of about 5 to 6 photographers with a group leader that usually is a more experienced photographer, but may not be, because some very experienced photographers have joined these groups and may have more experience than the leader. But the main point is that you submit image. Well, first of all, it has a huge number of topics, club topics. So you can join a group that specializes in black and white, or macro, or nature, or photojournalism, or creative, the list goes on and on. But you can pick what it is that you like and want to focus on. Now, if after, a number of months or years, you think you've gained all you can from that, then you can move to a different group. And for that matter, you can belong to more than one group at a time. But just be aware that you're expected to submit an image, a final image, and also the original image that it came from. And so that the other members of your group can see what you did with this image. And then you'll describe a little bit about your equipment and your process for taking the picture and the ideas you had behind it. It's a great way to get feedback. You know, Carol Accurso is here tonight. I know this was one of her interests in trying to get a group of people together a couple of years ago to look at each other's images, and it was kind of had fits and starts, but this seems to work very well. And people will make, you know, at the beginning of every month, you submit your images and everybody gets online and makes comments about each image, say what they like, what they think might improve the image. And it's all in a very constructive way. It's non-threatening.
No, the reason is because I wasn't smart enough to turn it up.
So the participants even have the ability to take the original image and modify it in a way they think would be more beneficial. And they could submit that to the original photographer to see what he or she thinks about it. But it's just a way of seeing your picture through someone else's eyes, which is always a good thing, because there are sometimes things that in our own images that are wonderful that we don't even see. So it's not always just bad things that we don't see. There's a lot of good things. So I highly recommend these study groups, and hope you'll consider that.
Are these available to the group members? I mean, to the group membership?
For individual members.
All the individual. Okay, thank you.
All right, and this is just a clip from the study group page. You can see that there are like, I think there are 99 study groups currently. Here you see groups 4 through 8, and they have very different titles, close up, general, etc. And the pictures that were submitted that month are posted on that web page. And then as a member of that club, of that group, you just click in and start evaluating images from your group members. Now, it's not limited to just looking at your own group. You are welcome to look at images from any group. And quite often I will go through the web page and look at all these images. And if I see something that really grabs my attention, I will go look at it, you know, in the group setting and see, you know, full size, and I might even make comments on it if it's something that, you know, I really like or really think would benefit for my opinion. But usually I just do it for sources of inspiration, which is never a bad thing. Any questions about that? Okay, moving on. PSA also does have individual image evaluation services. You know, it could be just in a situation where, you know, you want to submit your best image to our club competition, or you think you have something, but you want to know what it needs added or taken away from it to make it, you know, truly competitive. Well, they will provide evaluation services to do just that. Also, if you're trying to put a portfolio together, they have portfolio services that help you with that. They will help you put together or, you know, improve your images to make them good enough. Well, to try to make them good enough to get into a PSA recognized international competition. So as your skills move up, you know, you don't all of a sudden not need these services, you know, the club, because they offer stuff at all levels, not just for beginners, but for people who have been around photography a long time, but are looking for that extra, you know, bit of knowledge that maybe they haven't received yet that would help them do well in competitions.
Is this included in the individual membership, or is this for a fee? Wow.
They also have mentors and consultants in a number of areas. This includes various areas of photography, whether it be black and white or iPhone photography, nature, et cetera, They also have consultants that will help you on how to get prepared for international competition, how to find where these competitions are, how to register for them. And also consultants will help you if you want to go the extra mile that I'll talk about in a little bit in terms of getting ratings and distinctions in the society. They have a number of resources, which I wouldn't consider the top reason for joining. The internet is chock full of blogs and product sites and all kinds of YouTube videos on just about anything and everything related to photography. But PSA does have, might be a good place to start, especially if you're a beginner. And it can help you with, we want to organize trips and workshops or museums and gallery trips, things of that nature. They can help guide us, especially to places where, we're not native. So it's definitely a good thing to consider before you take any trips anywhere. They have a large collection of historic prints, which are not online, but every year they take the top images from their in-house competitions and archive them in Oklahoma and make them available to be seen as prints from time to time. So there's that. They got some articles on tools and techniques, and I won't belabor that. And just showing where their roots are. They even have instructions on how to print a viewing box, to make a viewing box for your prints, or for if we decide to do print competitions at some point, we would need a viewing box. So we have that. Now we know how to do it. They also offer travel advisories. So if you're going somewhere, it's very unlikely that somebody in PSA hasn't been there more than once. And it's a great resource for finding, what to see, what time of year, where to stay. And they also encourage, us as individual members to offer our services if we feel that we're expert on some area and want to pass on that information. So you just make a travel advisory request and they'll set you up with a person who's knowledgeable and can give you, a lot of important information on how to make the best of your trip. These are just some, list of travel articles, or at least the major areas of interest, and virtually they cover the whole world. So really shouldn't have any problem finding somebody who knows a fair amount about what it is you want to do and where you want to go. I won't talk about this much, but they do have a portfolio distinction program where you submit portfolios, and depending on how good they are, they'll get different levels of ratings. And again, that's just, a way of validating what you're doing. Some people don't need that. They just do the art for themselves. And if anybody else likes it, that's fine, but it's not their major goal. But, sometimes you do want to get some validation that, you're headed in the right direction. And so they will provide you help with that. Another area for those who really want to go the extra mile and start competing internationally, PSA has a large number of sponsored competitions around the world. And what will happen is some group, it could be a photography club, could be some photo organization, and it could be anywhere across the globe, wants to put on a competition. And so they have to meet certain requirements from PSA so that they can get that PSA distinction. This is also joint sponsored, usually with another large photography organization, which name escapes me, but they are based out of France. It's a European group. So what happens is you apply to enter your images in these competitions, and they may have up to 4 images you can send, depending on, some are just 2, some are 4, maybe even 6 sometimes, in different categories. And they decide if they're going to accept your image. If they accept your images for the competition, then that will entitle you to apply to PSA for star rating certificates. Then, based on the number of certificates you have, you are then able to apply for a ROPA distinction, which is I keep forgetting. I had to write it down.
Recognition of photographic achievement.
Recognition of photographic achievement.
Got it.
And so there are multiple levels, like tenderfoot, second class, first class, and Boy Scout. Well, it's the same deal here. You can read the qualification, the names of these individual levels, starting with a qualified PSA, then there's proficiency, et cetera, et cetera. It's like grandmasters in chess. So, and you get to put all those initials after your name. William, heck, I think Clay will put it on your club ID card. So it would be kind of cool, But anyway, for those who are interested in going really deep into competition, there is that opportunity through PSA.
I was going to put stars on name badges, but since we haven't been meeting this year, we didn't get around to it. But we can do that sometime.
They do have an annual photo festival. Like I said before, it's been held on hold. It's been on hold for last year and for this year. Hopefully 2022 will be a year without the virus and we can go back to doing the things we like to do. But again, it's an opportunity to give awards to some of the best images that came through PSA that year. Also to thank and recognize the people who contributed to the function of PSA, and a chance to, get some educational seminars and possibly to meet with friends you have. So those meetings can be a lot of fun especially if you're going to a place that you really wanted to go. So if you want, I really encourage all of you to look at their website. It's really detailed with a lot of individual sections where you can get more information about what I've been talking about and some things I probably didn't even mention. I think at the top of their website, they do have, I don't know if it's for members only, they do have an index. You just type in a search term and it might take 30 seconds to a minute, but eventually it spits out a whole list of resources on the website that address the topic you're interested in. So that's probably for members, but that's also useful. There's the address if any of you want to copy that. I think Clay will probably post that, or if anybody can't get that, just look up PSA photo organization on Google and you'll find it.
There's a link on the web on our homepage. I put a link today.
Great, thanks. Yeah. Anyway, I really hope that many of you will look at it for $45. For people like us who buy expensive cameras and tripods, and this is not a big fee. And there's just a lot there to explore and to learn from. So any questions about what I've talked about tonight?
I did not see any questions, particularly in the chat. So yeah, just unmute yourself and contribute a question. Take turns.
So you
Maybe I
mentioned
can- I'm sorry, go ahead.
you mentioned the benefits of us joining for full membership, but how do we access whatever benefits we get as a NAPfS member?
Okay, well, the interclub competitions would go through me most likely. You know, what we would do is set up a sort of a competition for all the people who are interested in entering, and then we would decide what our best 6 images were, and we'll have to determine a method or devise a method to do that. And, you know, everybody can chime in at some point what they think would be the best way to choose those images. So that's how we would do that part of it. Let's see, go find that. Yeah. No, that's individual. Sorry.
Can we get a copy of this?
The judging services, those would be obtained by the club. So you really wouldn't have to do anything there. The website and newsletter competition, again, that's through the club. We will get a hard copy of the magazine if you want to see that. I'll pass it around. I will try to keep the club apprised of what's going on briefly with PSA each month, or at least when they have something, you know, important to say. And then the webinars, really, for that, members need to ask through me, you know, how do we get access to a couple of webinars a year? I mean, if you really want to watch a lot of webinars, which they have a lot, it's definitely worth your while to pay for the subscription. Then you can watch them anytime you want, instead of having to, you know, watch them with the group. So that's how the club benefits will work.
Mark, I don't know if you asked if anyone here in this group of participants, 21 people, if anyone is a PSA member who has experience, or maybe you were in the past, any experience you want to share about being a PSA member? It looks like we're all new to this organization, so that's interesting.
And, you know, in 2019, I know we had a talk on PPA, and I know that we've got a few members that are in PPA. I'm not in PPA, so I can't speak with true knowledge, but I get the sense that that really is more of a club for professionals, and that helps them develop their photography businesses as much as anything. I know Bill Bunton's a member. He might have more information on that.
I was actually just over doing Imaging USA on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, because it was online this year. And that's Imaging USA is the kind of public conference for the PPA, the Professional Photographers of America. And so a lot of the courses that were presented in that online conference were, some of it was technique and training, but a number of them were also business-oriented courses for working photographers, and some inspirational courses, mostly on like how do you keep going after 2020 pandemic and stuff like that, but more professionally targeted. Yeah.
Okay, so it kind of confirms my thoughts about that. And, you know, most of us in our club are not professionals and probably aren't entertaining the idea, although we do have a few who are successful or, you know, on the verge of opening up a business. But this club, this organization, PSA, is really for all levels of photography. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I don't want to get in there with a bunch of superstars, because there are people from all levels, and you'll fit in very quickly. Yeah, it's like anything else, you know, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. You know, if you don't participate in the work groups, or you don't, you know, watch the webinars, well, you know, shame on you. I mean, it's there for the picking. So you know, if you don't want to do anything extra, don't join the club. But if you're looking for sources of education, inspiration, you know, communication with fellow photographers, I think that you cannot go wrong.
So can I make a suggestion that we, before a bunch of people start joining, that we try to find out if anybody in the club who's maybe not here tonight is a member, because it looks like there would be a way that you would attach that person's name to your membership application, and they then get credit towards like a free year for the number of people they bring in.
I had no idea.
So yeah, I'm just perusing.
That would be the most important.
Perusing the site. So, you know, maybe we can like send out an email just like, hey, if anybody's a member, let us know, because those of us who are looking at joining, you know, would put your name down. That way you can get credits. So
Yeah, I joined a little while ago, and I put Mark's name down as what you're talking about as the
they didn't tell me that I won $1 million.
Powerball.
Powerball, man, one winning ticket. It was
Thank
not.
Thank you, Carol. That's a real good tip.
Yeah.
One of the things, as Mark was going through and listing some of the individual benefits, it made me think, well, if we could have a member of our club take on a study group, if we had a little more better understanding of our individual members, say someone who's willing to answer questions about going to a national park or something, the kind of that quote travel benefits. If we could, you know, it's up to us as a club, as we have, we had close to 80 members, and we might be able to find somehow we can duplicate a few of these services on a local level where we get excited about it. Anybody feel like there was a particular benefit that they wish we had as a local benefit? I hear crickets.
I like the idea of well, like special interest groups, whatever you wanted to call a study group, study groups, or maybe you could go and maybe learn more about landscapes if it wasn't your genre, or like in my case, you know, maybe I could lead something for wildlife or be part of that for people who were interested in maybe exploring that as well. And we could all broaden our horizons a bit.
The discounts weren't a big deal. Like the 15% Topaz discount, you can Google that and get that any day of the week.
Yes.
Yeah, not like just the generic discounts that you get from any of them.
Yeah, like 15%. I mean, you can get that from anybody. I've got a coupon code if somebody wants to buy it.
I certainly wouldn't join for that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this may not even be as big as some of the other ones.
But the educational aspects of it seem interesting. You know, there's a lot more, the webinars and all the stuff that you were talking about. Seems like there's a lot of good stuff there.
You know, it's like everything else. The more you know, the more you know. You know, the more you study something, it leads you in different directions that you hadn't even thought of before. And that's what I'm trying to do with, of course, I have more free time than a lot of you, but trying to put it to good use I'm getting close to the end of the internet. It's almost there.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, it's always just another step.
We have a question in the chat wondering if we can get a copy of your slideshow or maybe post it on the
I
web
would be
with Ed.
happy. It's going to be, Ed, it's just going to be posted online, isn't it?
Yeah. If you'll send me the slideshow, I'll definitely put it online.
It's in open office. I'll have to see. I'm pretty sure we can make a PowerPoint out of it, or one of you software experts.
Yeah, you can make a PowerPoint. Not a
PowerPoint,
a PDF. You can make a PDF of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Save it as PDF.
PDF is perfect.
I have a question.
Yes.
If the club is going to consider using the judging services, either the ranking or the critique or any other, when do you think you'll be making such a decision, and when will we know?
Well, one of the things that Josh mentioned today was that we should consider using it, using it with a theme competition, just because we seem to get a smaller number of entries on themed competitions than we do on the open ones. So our next themed composition is in March. Conceivably, we could do it as early as that, but there's no, if there are reasons to wait, I'm open-minded about that. It's just,
Well, why wouldn't you consider it for the landscape show that we're doing right now? I mean, it's a jury show. It'd be obviously all good pictures to be submitted.
The deadline is already on us. It's tomorrow.
yeah, you've got to have it in 2 weeks before, and we haven't given anybody any notice of the deadline so we would have, if for a show that's on March 4th, I would have to announce a deadline of the middle of February, and that's the earliest we could possibly do that one.
Ah, okay.
Okay, well, whenever you intend to use it, I think the sooner we know, the members, the better.
I think we would make that as soon as we send it to them and they say we're going to do it, the membership would know. There's no reason to hold that back.
No, what I mean is that if you're going to use it on a regular basis, that decision, the sooner you make it and let the membership know, the better. I'm not talking about ad hoc. Okay, let's do that or something.
Okay. Well, what we'll do is say we plan to use their service for the competition in such and such month, and make sure there are no, large objections from the club. And if there, I would say, let's try it. It may not meet our needs, in which case, we haven't lost a whole lot.
Sure.
So, but if it does meet our needs, or at least in a limited fashion, like you've suggested, then there are potential many gains from this. So, but yeah, we won't do it arbitrarily without the membership being fully aware before we do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Mark, I'm still under the impression that we are going to continue to use club members as judges. And this is an effort that the leadership wants to have more diversity.
Yes. We might mix and match. We might use their service one month and then use our own judges, or we might use our own judges to do 1 or 2 classes and use them to do, 1 or 2 classes, again, on a rotating basis, so that all members could have the advantage of having their images judged by outside agencies at some point. All right. I don't know how many of you got my late message about this month's competition. We have, extra time in this meeting. If anybody wanted to talk about any of the winners wanted to, talk about their images, we could certainly do that. Do we have some of the winners here? I see Carol's here. Let's see, Hatham, Gary. I know you had
Dennis,
6 or 7 winners, didn't you?
Dennis had his fishing boat.
Gene, maybe? Gene, weren't you one of the winners? I think so.
A 3rd place winner.
Let me bring up the winners, and if anybody's here, we'll let them talk about them. Or if you want to talk about somebody else's image, that'd be fine too.
Got one more PSA related question.
Yes.
So if we're going to rely on them for judging and tutorials and all that stuff, what keeps our club viable? And how do we just not end up merged into them?
Well, first of all, when times change, personal connection of meeting people face to face is you can't replace that. I think all of us miss that. We'd like to be able to just hang out and talk photography. That's something that, you know, you're not going to do at PSA. Secondly, it's only a resource. You know, we don't have to use all of it, but if they offer things that we can't do on our own or would be difficult for us to do on our own, and it's easy for them, then I recommend taking advantage of those things. So, you know, it's not going to replace a club. It's just an adjunct. It's just another place for you to find resources and inspiration. I mean, does that make sense? I don't, you know, from what they're offering on the club level, you know, that's not going to make somebody leave our club to go to their club. I don't think.
Okay.
And we'd only be using them as judging as like adjunctive to our own.
Yes, I mean, if we found out that it was much better, well, so be it. We'll either have to change the way we do things and to rise to their level, or let them, you know, take over a part of our judging. I mean, again, all these things are, you know, have to be tried before, you know, we're going to commit to anything. And even then, you can change your mind anytime. And for $45 for the club membership, well, actually, what was it? Net $15? Or, yeah, it's just, it's a no-brainer for the club. And for the most individuals, I don't think it's a big ticket item. I mean, granted, people are on different budgets, and I certainly understand that. But it's, you get a lot for your money, I think.
What do you mean net $15?
Well, the club got a discount from visual pursuits, because we joined PSA. So we don't have to pay them as much. So it's not a discount from PSA, it's a discount from Visual Pursuits.
I've got a question, Mark.
Yeah.
What would happen if you just tried a dry run with them on judging? Maybe took winners from the last 2 or 3 months and submitted them and see what happened.
Oh, we can easily do that. We don't have to tell them that they're not the official judge for that. We just send them, you know, we just say, give them access to the competition, just like our judges did, and they'll do their thing on it, and then we can see how it turned out and see if we like the product. That's, you know, so you want to try out before we actually use them.
Yeah, it might be better than spilling our blood, you know, find out that we don't like it.
Well, yeah.
And it would be interesting to get their feedback on stuff we've already looked at and discussed.
Yes, I think calibration is important. I mean, as much as we can improve our judging, you know, you cannot say that getting feedback from a professional photographer is going to be bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
calibration is
judging is subjective, right?
It
So
is.
you're gonna get a different answer. They may lean towards the way the People's Choice Awards go. They may go the way our judges lean. You don't know.
It may go completely different than all of them.
They could be, yeah.
One of the things that I got from PPA, and I suspect they're the same thing at PSA, is that they have kind of a style that they like. And images that have that style are going to be judged better than images that don't have that style. So, you know,
It's like
well, at the end of the day, what is judging for? It's feedback for the photographer to improve their skill and go about their education journey. It's, you know, if you look at it that way, the more the better. If you look at it as a means to an award, well, you're in the wrong place. This is not the place to go compete for awards. There are many other places where you can have at it. You know,
Yeah,
all of us are amateurs, and all of us are learning. And so the best way to learn is to get feedback.
you know,
Well,
and
some of the
no
feedback is
judge-
going to be different depending upon the expertise of the judge, right? If the
Absolutely.
judge is like Josh is an excellent portrait photographer, and you ask him to judge a bird on a stick, you're going to get a different answer than if you ask
Absolutely.
Scott Bourne or somebody.
Absolutely, and that's why you need diversity of judging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something, you know, that in the best world might be that we use it periodically or as just another source of opinions every month. But we can tailor that the way we want to, I think.
Well, and maybe take the winners throughout the year, and at the end of the year, throw them all to the PSA and say, this is your PSA winner of the year.
Well, yeah, that's, you know, and that, like I mentioned earlier, that is kind of would be our critics award, where we get an outside expert to, to pick their favorite images.
You've got the best people's choice. You may have the best local judges award, and you may have a PSA award.
Yeah. Well, ever since you won photograph of the year, I've been looking for a different way to pick those. All right. Does anybody, I'll give you options here. We can terminate the meeting, which is fine with me. Or if somebody wants to discuss images from from 2 weeks ago, we can do that too. It's entirely up to you guys. I know it's, you know, late. I've been long-winded and maybe you've had enough, but I'll leave it. It's your choice. Show of hands. Who wants to look at images? I think that's okay. I think that kind of says what the group wants, and I respect that. So we'll say goodnight. Again, thank you all for attending. I hope this was informative. Again, if you have questions, I encourage you to go to the website. And if you want more about personal experience with PSA, feel free to contact me. I don't get any kickbacks off of this, so there's no motivation for me, but I think there might be motivation for you. So
thanks, Mark. Good presentation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for putting it together.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Welcome.
I was late and missed most of it. Is this recorded? Can I catch it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube probably tomorrow.
Okay,
and we'll
sorry,
get
I got distracted.
We'll get the slides out on a PDF or something. So if you want them, you can have them. But they're taken from the website. You know, I just clipped out text from all over. So there's nothing in my talk that really isn't, you know, you can't find on the website.
Okay.
But, and Clay, thanks again for helping me out. He's a good teacher for public speaking.
Yeah, he had to leave early.
Okay. All right. Good night, all.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Next meeting is March 4th, I believe, and we have competition night.
February 5th.
February
4th. I'm sorry.
I'm already skipping ahead. Thank you. Yeah, February 5th. So deadline for images will be the Saturday night before that.
Right. January 30th.
And the theme is open. So everybody should have some images that fit that.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks.